Okay, we're going to start the lesson today. So first thing, make sure you have, to start off, before we start on our notes, make sure you have a calculator, a pencil, and some sort of a paper. You can even use the back of your notes for now. We're just going to do a quick little review. All right, so first thing we learned was adding and subtracting and multiplying exponents. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go over adding and subtracting. So I have a problem here, 14z plus 6x minus 12z. Okay, so the way I was doing it, we were underlining like terms. Okay, so that's all we have to do here. We don't change anything else. Okay, you know what I forgot to do? Let's put some exponents up there, okay? So say this has a 4. All right, so let's go ahead and box them this time. Okay, so what do we have that's the same here? We have the z's, right? So let's go ahead and box 14z squared. And what is it the same as? Negative 12z squared. Okay, so these are called like terms. These two can be combined together. So what is 14 minus 12? 2. Okay, so that means we have 2z to the second power. Okay, so we're going to have 2z to the second power. Okay, so we can easily see we have 6x to the 4th power left, so we just simply bring that down, plus 6x to the 4th. All right, now this is your answer. You don't do anything else. You cannot put 2 plus 6. We just simply leave it like that. We have simplified it, done, okay? So before we move to multiplying, let's do another one. Okay, so we have a 4w squared minus 6w plus 8w squared minus 2w. Okay, so we have a lot of w's here, but they're not the same. We see a w squared. Remember what we talked about? We always want to put the highest exponent first. So let's start with that. We have a 4w squared. Okay, do you see anything that would be similar to that? If we look across, we see an 8w squared. So I'm going to go ahead and box those. Notice I'm boxing the plus sign that's in front of this one because the sign in front goes with it. So now I could just add the coefficient. 4 plus 8, and that equals 12. 12w squares, okay? Now that I'm done with that, I'm just going to go ahead and cross it out, okay? So now what do I have left? I have a negative 6w minus 2w, okay? So now they're both just w's, so those are like terms. I can go ahead and combine those. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8w's. Done, okay? I don't have to do anything else. Do not change these. Do not say this is a 3 now, 3w's. You only do that when you multiply. So let's go ahead and move over to multiplication. All right, so when you multiply, that's different now. So now, when you multiply the coefficients and you add the exponents. That's where the adding the exponents comes in, when you multiply. Okay, and we can say in your head, don't say this out loud, say, oh, I multiply the big numbers and I add the little numbers. Okay, so let's take our coefficient. 5 times 3, okay, we know that's 15. And now we put down our variable x and add the exponents. 2 plus 3 is 5. And that's your answer right there. You just simplified that. Okay, let's go down to 1. Now see, in this one, the multiplication was identified with the little dot. Now if you have two parentheses butt up right against each other like that, that means multiply as well. So we're going to go ahead and do that right here. This means multiply, the same thing as this, okay? They mean the same thing. So again, take your coefficients, 8 times negative 2. We multiply those together, we get negative 16, okay? Now this time we have two variables. Let's start with the one in, alphabetical order. So we start with x. And remember, we don't multiply these, we add them, okay? You add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now the next variable is y. Okay, now we don't see it. What's up here? I hope you all said 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, and this is our answer. Okay, I hope you remember that. Okay, so now we're going to take these two things we just learned and we're going to combine them together. Okay, we did a couple problems like that. Just want to check to see if you can see that. Okay, so now we have a multiplication problem on this side and a multiplication problem on this side, but in between, we're adding them together. So if you come across a problem like this, do them, first you want to do the two separate multiplication problems. Okay, so first I'm going to work on this side, okay, over here. So we take our coefficients, -6 times -2, and that gets us a positive 12. All right, now let's worry about our variables. What comes first, A or B? Ah, A, right? Okay, so put your A down. Okay, now we don't see it, but what's up here? A 1. Okay, so 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, now we have a B. Let's put our B down. What's really up here we don't see? A 1. Okay, so we're going to take a 1 plus 2 and gives us a 3. Okay, we're done with this side. Okay, now remember there's a plus in the middle, so let's go ahead and put our plus here. Let's do this side. Okay, remember this is a multiplication problem, so let's do it just like we did this side. 4 times -2 is -8. Okay, and then let's put our A down first. Remember, what do we do with the exponents? We don't multiply them, we add them. So 3 plus the 1, let's put our 1s down. 3 plus 1 is 4. Let's do our 2s. 2 plus 1, let's put our B down. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, now we're not done yet because we need to add these together as long as they're exactly the same. Okay, so we have an a to the 4th power, b cubed, a to the 4th power, b cubed. Yes, they are exactly the same. They're like terms. We can add them together. What is 12 plus a -8? It's the same as 12 minus 8. 12 minus 8 is 4. And then we simply copy this down exactly the way it is. You do not change it. A to the 4th, B to the 3rd. And that is your answer. Okay, so save these notes. We're going to go on to the next step. Okay, this is called a power to a power. Powers of monomials, okay? So you're going to raise a monomial to a power using the power rule. Okay, so we have an x to the a power in parentheses. Okay, that's really important. Notice how there's parentheses around that a to the, or the x to the a power. And then outside the parentheses, it's raised to another power, the b power. Okay, so when you see something like that, you are going to take your variable and take the a times the b. Okay, so now we're actually going to be multiplying those exponents. Okay, so let's do some examples. Okay, so we have this x here, this variable, raised to the 2nd power. Okay, it's in parentheses. On the outside, you notice it's raised to another power, okay, to the 5th power. So what we do is we multiply those two powers together, and we will get x to the 10th power, because 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, let's do another one. So basically what you're doing is taking the outside number and multiplying it by the inside number. Okay, so let's watch. Let's do this next one. We have a 4 power on the outside. So that means every power on the inside, we will multiply the exponents by. Okay, so m to the 7th power, let's put the m down. This 7 will be multiplied by the power on the outside. So 7 times 4 is 28. Now put the n down. All right, we have a 4, an n to the 4th power, raised to another 4th power. So we multiply those. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, doesn't sound too bad so far. All right, let's do one more like that. Okay, we have a c. Now what's up here? We don't see it. To the 1st power. Be careful with this. C to the 1st power is 1 times 3. What is 1 times 3? It is 3. Okay? d to the second power, or d squared, raised to the third power, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? Now, gets a little tricky because you didn't have any coefficients. Now we have some coefficients. So here's the rule. If you have coefficients, you raise the coefficients to the given power. Okay, when we say raise the coefficients, that means on your calculator, you will take that number, whatever your coefficient, for example, this number right here, 5, and use your little caret, okay? And then if you're raising it to the second power, you would put 5 raised to the second power, okay? Like that, all right? And then you will get an answer. So if I did 5 raised to the second power, I will get 25. Because what is 5 times 5? 25. Okay, so be careful with your coefficients. They will be whole numbers raised to the power of the outside number. Okay, you don't times them. It's not 5 times 2. It's 5 to the power of 2. So 5 times 5. Okay, and then you put the x down. And now the exponents will be 7 times 2. Okay, so 7 times 2 is 14. So be careful with that. The difference here is the coefficients will be raised to the power of whatever the number is outside. The exponents you just simply multiply. Okay, I hope you understand that. It takes a little practice. Okay, so let's look at this one here. Okay, again, you have the coefficient. Now, the coefficient is going to be raised to the 5th power. So you're going to take 2 and raise it to the 5th power. Okay, so go ahead and take your calculators and do that right now. I'm waiting for you to pick up your calculators and do that. Okay, so what'd you get? I hope somebody said 32. Okay, so 2 raised to the 5th power should be 32. All right, so now take your x, and now for this, we don't take 2 and raise it to the 5th power. The exponents, we just do 2 times 5. And what's 2 times 5? 10. Okay, put your y down. Now there's really a 1 above this y. Okay, so y to the first power, 1 times 5 is 5. Okay? So be careful with this next one. I think we talked about this before. Whenever you have a negative number on your calculator, put it in parentheses before you raise it. So put -2 and then raise it to the second power if you're using those small calculators that we have, okay? So do that, and you should get a +4. Okay, so just think of it this way. It's -2 times -2. Okay, because it's raised to the second power. You should get a +4. And then let's put our p down. We're going to take 4 times 2. We should have an 8. And put your q down. 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, why don't we pause? And I'm just going to have you do 7. So go ahead and pause and do 7. Okay, did you get that answer? Okay, I hope you did. Just have to remember to take this number and put it in parentheses. If you didn't, you would have gotten a negative, all right? Same thing with this one. Make sure you put it in. You should get a -27 x to the 6th power. Okay, so let's go to this one. Looks a little tough, huh? Okay, remember, don't be afraid of fractions. Okay, so all you have to do is put this fraction in your calculator, 1, and hit that ABC button, over 2, and raise it to the 3rd power. Okay, when you did that, what did you get? Okay, did you get 1/8? Okay, and then put your a down, and then 3 times 3 is 9. Let's put our b down. Ooh, make that look like a 9. 4 times 3 should be 12. And then let's do 5 times 3, and that's 15. Okay, I hope that you understand that. All right, now we're going to do some mixed practice down here. All right, so we're combining, let's see, we're combining, I think, all the things that we've learned so far. Okay, adding, multiplying, and raising to a power. Okay, so first thing here. All right, if we look at this first one, we're raising 2 powers, okay? And then on the other side, we're just multiplying, okay? So let's go ahead and see, let's just start with the raising of a power. So we have an x to the third, but on the outside, we have a power of 3. So what are we gonna do here? Did you say multiply? Okay, good. So x to the third, and the outside is a third, so 3 times 3 is 9. And then we put the y down, and it has a 3 here and a 3 on the outside. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then we're going to times that by x, y to the second power. Okay, so now we have just a straight up multiplication problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and just go across. Okay, remember when we just multiply, what do we do with the exponents? Did somebody say add? Yeah, okay, so let's do our x's first. So we have 9 plus 1 gives us 10. Okay, and then let's do our y's. We have a 9 here and a 2 here, and that makes 11. Okay, and that's our answer right here. All right, let's look at this one. Okay, this is pretty much the same thing, only they kind of flipped it. So let's bring this down, a to the third power, and we're going to multiply it. Okay, so we have a negative a squared, okay? And we have to raise that to the 4th power, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. And what do we get? 2 times 4 is 8, a to the 8th, and then b to the 4th, okay? So we have 3 and 8, a to the 11th, and then we just have a 1b to the 4th. All right, let's go down here. So this one, oh, we have a raised to the power here and raised to the power here. So we're just going to do this side and then this side. All right, why don't you guys do that one right here, and I'll pause it. You go ahead and pause. All right, let me write this down for you. So you should have gotten on this one a positive 4. And then on a squared b to the 4th. And then this should have been a 9, a to the 4th, b to the 2nd. Right? Okay, so you got that, and then you would have just combined those two together. 4 times 9 is 36. Okay, so you got to multiply the coefficients. And then you had a to the 6th. And then to 2 b's would be b to the 6th. Okay. All right, let's go over to this one. Okay, so use your calculator again and do 6 times 1/3. Where are we? 13? Oh, I'm sorry, we got to do this first. Okay, so 6 to the 3rd power. Okay, 6 times 6 times 6. Let's see, I got to use my calculator. 6 times, that's 216. Okay? And then a, 2 times 3 is 6, and b to the 3rd. Okay, now we got to do this side. 1/3 raised to the 2nd power. Okay, you got to put 1/3 and raise it to the 2nd power. Okay, go ahead and do that. And we get 1/9. And then remember, this is a 1, this is a 1, and this is a 1. So a to the second power, b to the second power, c to the second power. Okay, so now we got to combine all those together. Okay, first you got to take your coefficients. 216 times 1/9. Okay, so do that on your calculator right now. I'll give you a second to do it. Okay, so 216 times 1/9. Okay, you should get a number that is 1/9 smaller than this. Okay, and that will give you 24. Okay, now all we have to do is add these numbers together on top of each of these variables. A, 6 plus 2 is 8. B, 3 plus 2 is 5. C, there's no other C, so we're just going to put a 2. So that should be your answer. Okay, let's go down to 14. Okay, so this one, we just have to do this side, and then we'll multiply these two sides together. Okay, so 2 to the third power is 8. A has a 2. 2 times 3 is going to be 6. Okay, so we're done with that side. Let's go to this side. Okay, there's really a 1 in front of this, so 1 times 3 is 3. And there's a plus sign in the middle. And then we have our A. 4 plus 2 is 6. Notice I didn't multiply that because they're just multiplied because nothing was raised in this one. It's just multiplied. So if they're just multiplied, you add them. If it's raised like this one, that's when you multiply. Okay? You'll get the hang of it later. It takes a little practice. Okay? So what I will give you when I come back is a foldable that you can put in your notebook. Okay? And that way you'll have it a little more organized. Okay, so now, are these like terms? A to the 6, A to the 6? Yes. So can we add these together? Yes. Are we going to change this? No. 8 plus 3 equals 11A to the 6th power. And there's our answer. Okay, last one on this page. Okay, we have 3 different ones to do here. Okay, so these two are multiplying together. This is raised, okay? So 3 to the 4th power, let's do that first. 3 to the 4th power is 81. And then we have an x. 3 times 4 is 12. And then the y is to the 4th power. Okay, so now we have to do this one. Oh, this is another raised one. Okay, so now we're going to subtract 7 raised to the 2nd power. 7 times 7 is 49. And then we have a 5 times 2, which is 10. And then we have the y in there. That's going to be raised to the 2nd power. Yikes. And then we have this at the end. So we're just going to times that. X squared, y squared. Okay, so now we got all this mess. What do you think we're going to do next? Okay, so we have this 81 minus this, and then we have this, okay? So if we do order of operations, we really should do the multiplication next, right? So let's go ahead and combine these two together, and then we'll subtract all of it. So we have this and this, okay? So we have 49x to the 10th power, y to the 2nd power, times x to the 2nd power, y to the 2nd power. Okay, so let's combine our x's and our y's together. So we're still going to have 81, x to the 12th, y to the 4th. We're still going to have minus. We're still going to have the 49, but we're going to change our x and y. So we have x to the 10th and x to the 2nd, which is going to give us x to the 12th. We have a y to the 2nd and a y to the 2nd, which is going to give us a y to the 4th. Oh, look. Are these like terms now? Yeah. This is an x to the 12th, y to the 4th. This is x to the 12th, y to the 4th. Can we combine these two together now? Yes, we can. Okay, quickly, somebody pick up your calculator. What is 81 minus 49? Did you say 32? Well, I'm going to put it way down here because I ran out of room. 32 x to the 12th, y to the 4th. All right. Well, that was a lot of notes for today. Okay, now, instead of going on to geometric applications today, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and just go on either Math Games or iExcel if you have some more time left today. And then tomorrow I will go on with geometric applications. All right. Goodbye.